Hey, welcome back to the channel, and what I have next to me is the 70% keyboard from Keychron, and it's their new Q7 keyboard. I've actually been using this for the past few weeks already, and Keychron actually just made it available to purchase yesterday, so let's check out what this is about and see if it's going to replace my trusty and everyday keyboard, the Q1 V2. But to make this video a little bit more interesting though, we'll also be modding it by switching out a few of the switches, but also using these things to mod it. Let's go. But before we check out the latest and greatest from Keychron, I just want to quickly thank today's video sponsor, NordPass. I don't know about you guys, but typing passwords can get pretty tiring. Plus, you got to think about securing all of your social accounts, and you got to make sure that you have a ton of different characters and symbols just to make sure that your accounts are super secure. And here's a crazy story for you guys. Just a couple of weeks ago, I actually got a few emails saying that someone's trying to access or reset my Facebook, my Twitter, PayPal account, which is kind of odd because the email came in past midnight or 1 a.m. and I was already asleep. But luckily I was using NordPass, so I was able to create a very secure password for all of my accounts, and I can store it all in one place. And I can log in quicker since it has an autofill feature on all of my devices. The app will even tell you if your account or credit card info has been leaked, so you can change your passwords immediately. So if you want to feel safer online and make sure that all of your accounts are protected, you can get 70% off a 2-year NordPass premium plan using my link below or using the code on screen. Plus, if you use my code or link, you'll get an additional month for free, so not a bad deal at all. If you feel like supporting the channel and want to see more videos from me, make sure to click the first link down below and sign up, and make sure that your online identity is protected. Special thanks again to NordPass for sponsoring a portion of this video. Okay, so if you bought anything from Keychron before, you should be familiar with this yellow DHL package. And inside this package, Keychron not only sent me their Q7, but they also sent me their coiled cable in black, their Keychron keycap set in that bluish black and white color scheme, and the keyboard itself. So inside the box, you do get the usual stuff like the manuals, USB-C cable, tools to take the keycaps and switches off, and to access the back of the keyboard. And then you have the keyboard itself. So out of the gate, the Keychron Q7 is actually pretty heavy since it's made out of an all aluminum chassis. It's just about as heavy as my Q1 V2 with the knob, but this one's weight is actually distributed pretty evenly. It's also shorter than my Q1 V2, but longer at the same time, if that makes any sense. It's shorter in terms of its overall height, but it's just a little bit wider than the Q1. So first impressions, it feels hefty. It's not as heavy as, like a $300 to $800 mechanical keyboard you'll see from other creators with brass plating and more expensive materials all around. But yeah, the overall build, Keychron's Q series have always been great. And the thing about these newer Q series keyboards from Keychron is that you don't really have to do a lot of modding or break the bank with expensive mods to make it sound better. So I did get the version with the Gateron Browns, which are the tactile switches, and while they're not super loud like the clicky blue switches or even the linear red switches, out of the box, the Q7 sounds pretty good. There's almost little to no wobble to them. The sound profile is passable for a starter keyboard, and yeah, it's just a super solid keyboard out of the box. You can still obviously customize the keyboard using the VIA app, and it also has a switch on the back if you're using it for either a Mac or Windows PC. Now, I've actually been learning a lot about keyboards and switches these past few months that I'm at a point where I know exactly what I want my keyboard to sound like, and so let's get to modding this. Okay, so for the mods on this thing, we're not going to go super crazy. I spent maybe $20 to $30 at most. We're going to be doing a few things. We're going to be using painter's tape, polyfill, PE foam, but we're also going to be using this clear double-sided tape, which I'm actually running out of, and replace some of the switches with these Gateron Browns to these silent black inks from my old keyboard. And I've already gone ahead and switched out the keycaps to the ones that Keychron sent me, but in the future I might get something that looks a little bit different, but for now this is what the final keyboard should look like. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to do is put 2 to 3 layers of tape on the PCB. This thing can be a bit tedious if you have slimmer painter's tape like me, so I highly suggest you guys get the bigger version. And once I've applied 2 to 3 layers of tape on the PCB, I'm gonna remove the foam that's on the very bottom of the plate, and it's very thin, so I don't really think that this does anything to the overall sound. But I am replacing that with polyfill, and I'm also gonna be adding 1 layer of PE foam to go on top of that polyfill to really help dampen the sound. And then once that's closed off, I did want to switch out the Gateron Brown switches for my function keys like the Enter, Shift, Spacebar to these Gateron black inks to make them quieter. Now I did leave the letters and numbers to the stock Gateron Brown so I can hear those Thocky sounds from the keyboard. Now I did mention this clear double-sided tape earlier. Basically what I did was cut up 2 pieces of clear double-sided tape like this and stick it under the Spacebar keycap. So basically what this does is it makes it sound less springy and feels softer at the same time. 1 layer on both sides is enough, and it should make the spacebar sound more pleasing so that it doesn't sound tinny or springy, if that makes any sense. All right, now that we've modded it, let's listen to what this sounded like stock and what it sounds like after the mods, and let me know what you guys think below. And yeah, this is pretty much it. This is the new Keychron Q7. If you're looking for a 70% keyboard, which I know isn't normal, it's usually 65% or 75% keyboards, but if you're looking for a keyboard that's smaller than the Q1 V2, which is my go-to keyboard for my Mac setup, then the Q7 is pretty much what you should look into. In my opinion, the price is pretty good for what you're getting, and Keychron as a whole is a great brand to get into for mechanical keyboards. The mods I did probably took about an hour and a half to do everything, and I just love how this sounds now. If you do want to see more keyboard videos from me, let me know in the comments below what I should check out and maybe what switches I should switch out these Gateron Browns for. Let me know in the comments below. And again, huge shout out to NordPass for sponsoring a portion of this video, and make sure you don't miss out on the killer deal below by using my link in the description or my code. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.